News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, and the Louisville Real Estate Show coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show. If you're a condo owner or no one, Eli has information you need to hear about. Also, how high should the humidity in your home be during the summer months? We've got Cynthia with us to tell us her reading is really high, and we'll find out what to do with it. Also, count them, five pests to look out for this summer, possibly invading your home, and how to protect your most prized possession other than your family. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Sokoler, as I said, owner of the Sokoler team, Remax Properties East. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. With us to answer your questions, and we've got a lot of them, Chuck Crosby, the owner of the Crosby Law Offices. He does a great job at real estate closings. He also does other things in the real estate industry, wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sale. You can get a hold of Chuck anytime, 499-6360. Also hear from his southern office, which happens to be his dad's location down in Florida, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. If you've got an inspection that you'd like to schedule, Brad's the guy with Home Team. They come in as a team. They're the number one home team inspection service in the country, 10 years in a row. And also, if you've got pests, and we'll be talking about them, you can also help you get rid of them by calling Brad and his group, which is Team Bug Out. And you can reach both of those folks at both of those companies, 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I would love to help you. No home too big, no home too small. I work in both Louisville, surrounding counties, and southern Indiana. You can reach me for a free, no obligation consultation. I come out, we talk, and we hopefully spend as much time as you need me there. You can reach me on my cell phone, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and you can also get a free analysis of what your home is worth using our computer system. Go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. All righty. This first story, this is scary, and both Chuck and Brad, I'd like you in on this. Eli. We're going to call him Eli and his wife. I actually met him this past week. He wants to sell, but there are some severe maintenance problems with the condo buildings, and Eli is afraid that it will scare potential buyers away. Now, folks, I have to tell you, we've been following these stories for a couple of years now. This is not a problem that's isolated to Eli and his condo association. There are literally, would you say, Brad, hundreds of condo complexes around the country that have deferred maintenance that it's coming due, and it's going to hit hard.
Oh, yes. No question.
Yeah. So let's start with, first of all, Eli says in what we talked about that his condo board has paid the condo insurance. He's not sure that's actually happened. The condo board saying there's no more money left in the bank account to repair condos. So, Chuck, let's talk about this. How does Eli and other folks who have condos know that their condo board has paid the master insurance if there's no money left?
Well, they have the right to inspect the books. They can't just keep that a secret, so they can find out if there's no more money. But again, a lot of the repairs are going to be, based on what the board decides to do. The board can be voted out, and if they do things incorrectly, lawsuits can, be started to force them to do things. But if there's just no money, well, there's just no money. That's why when you buy a place, it's important to make sure that they're properly funded. The mortgage companies, that's part of the questionnaires that mortgage companies will do. But if you're buying a place cash, just because you like the condo doesn't mean they're properly funded. The good ones out there will have reports that have been done to determine what needs to be done in what order, how much money they should have, and if they're keeping to it, everything should be good. But some of them are just not as well run.
All right, so we've got a lot of questions. We're going to go through these rather quickly, and maybe we need to expand on some, but that may be a future show. Folks, again, if you own a condo or know somebody who does, this is very important information you need to hear and absorb and potentially act on. By the way, you can hear and see a replay of this show by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That is LouisvilleAnswers.com. Back to Eli's questions for me. He says there's a lot of deferred maintenance and wood rot, for example, on the outside of buildings, some concrete possibly pulling away from the buildings. In some cases, roofs are the original in some of the buildings, and that may be going back to 1977, making them 48 years old. Yeah. And Brad, you're seeing these when you inspect them, and you write these up when you before a buyer will buy a condo unit, right? So it's not going to be hidden, and it's not going away. The problem.
No, correct. Yeah, that's all part of what we report back to the buyer when we do a condo inspection. We'll call it home inspection for them. That we don't necessarily know where the condo association's responsibilities start and stop. So we're looking at the full structure of the building that the condo is in, accessing any area that is available to us. And it's not uncommon for us to see issues with decks, roofs, flashings, exteriors, windows. There's a lot of different things that pop up, when we do the inspections. Of course, we're not privy to any of the financials for the HOA, but we're giving the information to the buyer so that they can then, go to their HOA representative and say, okay, here's what my inspector found. How is this going to financially impact me?
Eli says that his condo board, has been basically non-responsive, Chuck Crosby, to when requested for information about the budget and where the money is going, and that they're paying the condo owners are paying monthly fees. What is his recourse at that point if the condo board?
His recourse is call an attorney. They can't withhold that information from you. The board itself is not some sort of monarchy. They're voted in, and it's a council of co-owners. Everybody owns it. It's their money. It's being held in a fiduciary capacity. If there's things, if the money's disappearing, or there isn't any, or they just won't let you know, you get an attorney, you file that lawsuit, and you compel them to do it.
To add insult to injury, Eli says the board has told him, or people on the board, that there are water leaks, Brad Lawler, water leaks in the complex, amounting to, quoting here, a total of $60,000 a month in water leaks. And the board is saying that's where some of the money that everybody's paying is going to pay for the water, not even to attack the potential repairs. You've seen this type of a problem?
Yeah, well, the thing about that is what I don't understand is there are companies that specialize in leak detection. I don't know why a board would allow that to go on. There are companies that's literally the only product that they sell, the only service they sell is leak detection, finding out where those leaks are. I don't really quite understand that comment because that's a relatively.
I've dealt with some of those companies, and depending on where or the layout of the condos, if it's set up more like patio homes and things like that, could be potential leaks throughout the entire system, and not all systems are one enclosed circuit. So they get, but it's prohibitively expensive in some cases.
Gents,
to the tune of $60,000 a month.
That's a lot of money.
They're going to run out of that pretty soon. I get that.
Right. Well, yeah. So.
Yeah, but if it's like the guy, the person who can't afford a really good boot, you buy a boot every year as opposed to buying one good boot every 10 years.
Yeah,
if they don't have the money to do the inspection, well, they're stuck in a bit of a trap.
All right, so when we're done with this, when you get time, send me who these Eli should contact and others should contact. Folks, if you've got a problem, you'll email me. I'll get you that information. Let me continue. We have more. Eli's concerned, what legal action should he take against the board, or is that even possible? Because they're telling him, if you sue us or come after us, you're actually costing yourself more money because we have to hire an attorney, and guess who's paying for that attorney?
Yeah, well, that's true. But again, to go along with Brad's analogy, you don't want to keep throwing good money after bad. If they aren't doing their job, you get the attorney and you compel them to do their job. And if they aren't willing to do it, who's causing the loss? It's not the person who's complaining of you not doing your job. It's the person who's not doing the job.
Can they close their doors, though, Chuck? Just simply say, we're out, and they leave, and that you would then reelect a new board, basically, right?
Yeah, you'd reelect a whole new board.
Eli says, finally, there are 10 condo or more owners who haven't paid their monthly fees. Shouldn't the board be going after them?
They should. The board acts in a fiduciary capacity, okay? They're supposed to try and, make everything work properly and look out after the best interests of the other owners. But we don't know what they're doing. Some boards or some condos are set up so that if you don't pay your dues, you can be foreclosed upon. Others are set up where it's just a lien. Well, you can't get blood out of a turnip. Filing a lien doesn't, make somebody pay you. It just puts a lien on the property. So if it gets sold, which at this condo, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen anytime soon. But that again is a cost and a lengthy process.
Can a seller sell a condo in this condition? I don't think they can, because a buyer's going to want to see the board reports that are required by the state.
When I look at it, it's like, can they? Yes, they can. They are capable of doing it. Would somebody buy that? Only if they're not taking care of looking out for their own best interest. It's like I was saying, you get the financials from the board. You look to see that it's properly funded. You look to see if there's any deferred maintenance and that sort of thing. So can you? Yeah, you can sell anything. Will somebody buy it is the question.
Yeah. Good point. To see and hear a replay of what we've just talked about, LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. To see what buyers and sellers are saying about us with reviews about my team and myself, go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com. Cynthia has sent us an email with an interesting question. She's got her humidity meter running in the basement, and that's good. It's showing 70%. Brad Lawler, home team inspection. She thought the proper humidity is somewhere about 40% in the summertime. So her question is, what's going on in the basement? And then the second part of her email is, how do you get rid of the humidity going in there?
Okay, so the relative humidity in your home is going to be based on the outside temperatures, as well as some of the inside temperatures as well. So in the wintertime, you may get relative humidity readings that are as low as 20%, which is why you get static shocks when you walk across the floor in socks. In the summertime, you want to make sure that the relative humidity stays below 60. 60 is kind of the top for what they call comfort level. It's also the point at which above that you can get conditions for fungal growth. Normally, if you've got an 80 degree, 85 degree day, you've got a 50-60% relative humidity outside, then your inside relative humidity is probably going to be somewhere closer to about 50%. 50-55 is normally what you'd see in air conditioned space during the summer. Fall, spring, yeah, you may get into the 40 to 50 range, but a lot of it has to do with the comfort. Much of it has to do with your air conditioning setup. Folks that have variable speed motors tend to have humidity readings that are a little bit more stable. If you've got an older single stage blower motor, then you may have more ups and downs in the relative humidity based on the outside temperature. So each system is going to be a little bit different. They're adjusted a little bit differently. The air conditioning systems, the heater systems, will draw in fresh air from outside, what they call the makeup air that goes into it. The fresh air exchange, that's bringing moisture in, and that's why a properly operating air conditioning unit is going to remove the amount of humidity in the air in order to get it back to the level that the HVAC system has been told is comfortable based on those other exterior temperature and what the inside temperature settings are. The colder you get inside, the lower the relative humidity, the higher the temperature, the higher the relative humidity is the general rule of thumb.
All right. Hopefully that helps. And Cynthia's getting to a comfortable basement. Yeah. Get a service person out there to work on that HVAC to start with, it sounds like. We're taking a break. When we come back, more of your questions and 5 pests to look out for this summer and how to protect your home. It's continuing with us, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. They do real estate closings, wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sale. You can reach Chuck and his team at 499-6360. Another team you can reach is Home Team, Inspection Service, and Team Bug Out. You can get a hold of Brad to schedule a inspection or a service, 844-411 team. And if you are thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, you can reach out for me. I'd love to help you. You heard the phone ringing a moment ago. The phone rings all the time. You can reach me on my cell phone just after the show, 376-5483. That's 376-LIVE. You can also go to bobsellslouisville.com, click out the form, hit submit, and get a free analysis of your home value by going to WeSellLouisville.com and clicking on the top of the page. Back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, Louisville Real Estate Show, back with you. And thank you, Barbara Corcoran, for all you do. We appreciate being a friend and you being our mentor. Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank fame. Continuing with us, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. He's down at his southern compounds, his dad's place down in Florida. So he's coming to us on a little time off, but we appreciate that all the same. 844-411-TEAM is the number for Brad. Also, Chuck Crosby. He's the head guy at the Crosby Law Office. Thank goodness, because that's the name on the door of his office. You can
It
reach.
would be a little awkward.
It would
otherwise,
be, wouldn't it? Yeah, no kidding. Sherry Crosby no, it's Chuck Crosby. Sherry's his wife. Say hi to Sherry when you go in and say hi to her. You can reach Chuck for real estate closings, wills, powers of attorneys, foreclosure defense, commissioner sale, 499-6360. Thinking of selling? I'd love to help. I really would. You can reach me. It's a free, no obligation analysis. I come out, we talk as long as you want. It's me. I'll be there. You call me, and I will set up a time for you as long as you want. I'll answer the questions. 376-5483 or 376-LIVE is my number. Go to WeSellLouisville.com if you want a free, no obligation analysis of what your home is worth. And if you want to try emailing me, go to my website. Just go to BobSellsLouisville.com, and that'll take you to the website where you can fill out a form to get in contact with me. All right, we got pests. They're coming our way, and it's time to talk about them. 5 pests. Brad, I'll name them. You give me the details and what we can do to stop them, all right?
Okay.
All right. Mosquitoes. They are a problem. How big of a problem this year?
Well, problem this year, it started out as a cool season, but it's been very wet, so they're going to be a challenge. The difficulty in controlling mosquitoes is you got to get rid of all the water. Everything that sits in your yard that has stagnant water, mosquitoes are breeding in. But mosquitoes can also come in from as far as 2 miles away. So you can't do anything about those in your yard, but you do want to take away those breeding grounds in your backyard. That's the best thing to do. And if you're outside, put a little fan on you. You know, they can't fly upstream. So best thing you can do is just keep some air flowing over you, and that'll kind of keep them away while you're out there too.
Next, ants. Why are they a problem, and are they worse this year than the past?
They are worse this year because we've had so much rain. They have been kind of flushed out of the ground. So yes, they are worse. We are getting a lot more calls for ants, both outside as well as those finding their way into homes because they've gone in through little cracks and crevices that haven't gotten closed up. And they're just looking for shelter, just like everything else. They don't want to get wet either.
That's too bad. The terrible stings, which are painful from wasps and hornets.
You know, wasps and hornets are about the normal. This is just the beginning of hornet season. Here's what I will tell everybody. If you've got a hornet's nest, be very careful. If you want to try to do it yourself, just make sure that you have an escape path because as soon as you go to disturb the nest, they are coming after you. And if you're buying a product off the shelf at a big box retailer, it may not be the knockdown power that you think it has. We're getting people calling in that attempted to take nests out of trees under eaves on windows, and they got stung, or they're trying to deal with the ground hornets and the yellow jackets in the ground, and they're trying to do things like gasoline and water to flush them out, and that's just going to create a dangerous situation for yourself.
How about cockroaches? Are we seeing a big infestation, or is it just standard?
No, normal. It's kind of standard infestation on cockroaches. The best thing you can do there is just clean stuff up. A lot of them are looking for water sources. They are also looking for, unsanitary areas. They love to eat filth and slime and old food. So if you do a good job cleaning, you're not going to have to worry about roaches.
Finally, raccoons and rodents. The bigger pet.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to tell you about that is be really, really mindful. If you see that a raccoon has started to try to climb up the side of your house, or you've got a limb overhanging your roof that's touching, those are all pathways for raccoons. And I've seen raccoons actually tear through shingles all the way through the sheathing in order to gain access into attic spaces. They are not to be messed with. You need to call in a professional as soon as you see any signs of those getting close to your house.
Got it. We move on. Chuck Crosby, Crosby Law Office, Pamela, buying a home. And I know this is not maybe your bailiwick, but I have a feeling you've got a suggestion. Pamela says in this email, our insurance company wants to charge us $7,000 a year for insurance for the new home they're buying. Apparently, there have been some claims against the home with the existing homeowner insurance. And there's a national record. Are we right, Chuck? That tracks it. You need to know that, folks. Okay. So the insurance company says, besides that, it's $7,000. The result of, I guess they were 2020 charges of claims. What can she do? Is it just trying to shop it? Is that the best?
That's it. I mean, they're a private company. You can't force them to sell you insurance. So it's just a matter of shopping it around. I always wonder about those houses that have had all the claims. Did they get all the repairs? I've seen some sellers try and make that end run. So, there's always that to be aware. But usually it's found because somebody's trying to get a new insurance policy on the property. And they do run it on that national registry.
Yes, so remember that, folks. And if you were paid for a roof and then put the roof on and then try to sell, there's problems ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding. That's not good at all. Back over to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Tommy has a fairly new house. He's writing in this email that he sent us that he bought it about a year ago. He's monitoring the humidity. Also, he says it's gone from 35 to 70% in the past few months. So, Tommy, you and others seem to be having this problem. Brad, is a dehumidifier, besides having your HVAC checked? Tommy wants to know if buying a dehumidifier would help in reducing,
Yeah, so in some cases, dehumidifiers do help. Where I would start those, I would start to make sure that you're getting those twice a year services with a great HVAC, company that like, and trust. Start there. Let them service the system. They can tell you things that can be tuned up. Some systems are just, because of the age of the equipment, the houses may just be holding higher levels of humidity. Nothing wrong with a dehumidifier. Just know, though, that if you get one that has the tank, you have to empty that tank out. Once the tank fills up, and some fill up very, very quickly, the system will shut down. So some people think that it's just to set it and forget it. So make sure if you do buy the dehumidifier, you know what the system is. Does it have a hose that goes into a drain? Well, how is it set up? Because those are all important considerations in that. The other thing is you need to make sure you know what area you're trying to dehumidify, because those are only good for, say, 1,500 square feet for the bigger ones. So that may not be adequate for, a lot of basements, in our area. You may have to have a couple of those units. So you really have to take that into consideration as well. And they do use electricity. They're not particularly energy efficient in what they're doing. So, keep that in mind too.
Yeah, one thing, I had the same problem, and I bought a dehumidifier. Now, I have a radon evacuation system, mitigation system, so that's sealed into the sump pump where I would normally drain that water from the tank. So what I did was I took the tubing and I actually put it into where the condensate pump is for the HVAC. So the dehumidifier takes the water out of the air, it dumps it into the condensate pump, which is next to the HVAC system. And then the pump inside, when that little well fills up, pumps it up and out. Where it goes, I don't know, but I do need to find that out probably. So that's a path, folks. If you have a radon mitigation system and it's sealed, the sump pump is sealed, hopefully you have some sort of condensate pump that you can actually, there are like 3 or 4 holes at the top of that pump that you can put your tube into. Right, Brad? Good.
Yeah, exactly. Or you may have a pan. Yeah, there's different ways. Yes, the condensate pump is a good way to dump that water.
Billy writes in, he is about to sell his house, Chuck Crosby, Property Value Administration in his county is saying the house is worth $500,000. Billy has had a real estate agent come out to give them an analysis of what the home is worth. And he says in this email, the analysis shows the property is worth far less money, $80,000 or so less. He wants to know, so is it up to the PVA to set the value? Is it the real estate agent who sets the value? What can he do to get an accurate idea of what the home is worth?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily go with PVA as determining what your property's worth. They're supposed to have a fair market value, but they're limited in a lot of ways. When you do a deed, you put the fair market value on. So if the property sold fairly recently, they probably got a really great idea. If the property hasn't sold or properties in the neighborhood haven't sold in a long time, well, maybe they're off. The first thing I'd think about, if you're really wanting to know, get an appraisal done. And then that can help you. If the appraisal goes with the lower amount with the realtor, well, then come next April when the tax notifications come out saying what your property's assessed at, you appeal it and you try and get your taxes lowered, your assessment lowered, which lowers the taxes. And if it comes in higher, you show it to the agent and say, hey, what's going on here?
Right. Now, I will tell you that every agent's got a different opinion. They use different systems. The system that we use, when I tell you to go to and you could do this, Billy, go to WeSellLouisville.com, top of the page, click on it, enter your information, and it will spit out a computerized rundown of what it's finding, its systems. We use 3 different metrics to be able to come up with a price, but everyone's different. And, no agent may be correct. An appraiser may not be correct. I know appraisers are not happy with that. You can talk to 100 different appraisers and you may get a different valuation from each appraiser based on the comps that they end up using to compare. So ultimately, you know who the answer is with? It's with the appraiser who is assigned to the bank of the person who is buying your house and the buyer who, when he initially makes the offer, what he thinks your house is worth. That ultimately is what the house is worth. If a willing buyer is willing to pay it, right? And the bank approves of it. So that's really the answer. And that's as accurate as you possibly can get, because there's no other answer out there right now. I wish I could tell you, Billy, go here. I can't. Doesn't
Well,
happen.
are you suggesting that value of property is voodoo?
No, I'm suggesting that the interpretation of the value by
I got you.
individuals is different. Everybody's got an opinion and everybody's entitled to it. And the same thing with property values. And it all comes down to what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept. It's what runs the world. We are out of time. My thanks to Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. You can get a hold of him for real estate closings, wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales. You can reach Chuck 499-6360. Also, my thanks to Brad Lawler, who's a little on vacay right now, but he'll answer his phone. Home Team Inspection Service, Team Bug Out, 844-411-TEAM to get an inspection done for a new, which is important, or resale. And also, if you've got a pesky critter or bug, like we talked about earlier, you can get a hold of him there. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I would love to help you. No home too big, no home too small. I work both in Louisville, surrounding counties, and southern Indiana as well. You can reach me for a free, no obligation estimate. I'll come out. It's me. We talk. 376-5483. That's 502-376-LIVE. Or go to bobsellslouisville.com. Click on the link to fill out the information and hit submit, and then you can go to WeSellLouisville.com to get that free computer analysis of what your home is valued at. And to hear what buyers and sellers are saying about us, go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com to read our reviews. Coming up next week, 12 mistakes never to make when flying the American flag in your home. We're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.